Hello, my name is Eric Fox. I'm Chief Economist here at Veros Real Estate Solutions.
And I'm Reena Agrawal, Senior Research Economist at Veros.
And today we wanted to talk about a topic I think that's very current in a lot of people's minds, and that's how do you sell your house in a market that maybe isn't a strong market?
Yeah, I think a lot of people want to know how to do that because perhaps, your family is growing, so you need more space, or a new job is pulling you to a different city, or maybe you just want to downsize. So you want to sell your home, but you also realize that there are many more homes in your neighborhood that are on sale, and they are sitting there on the market for a while now, and homes you can see are not selling fast. So it's very different from what we saw during the pandemic years. That at that time, homes were selling very fast and they were getting multiple offers. You literally had to put a sign for sale in your backyard, in the front, and, a home would sell. Right now, the market is very different. What is happening right now is that mortgage rates are very high, or they are around 7%, and there are more homes on the market, and home prices are also high. They are not rising as fast as they were before, but they're still very high. So what that means is affordability is still an issue for buyers. And buyers now have the luxury of being choosy in a slow market because there's so many homes to check out, or, and there is no rush to buy those homes. So how do you sell a home in this type of environment? How do you attract those discerning buyers?
Well, I think the first strategy, Reena, is you want to price it correctly from the start. I think a lot of sellers like to test the waters, and overpricing in a market like we have now is really a recipe for disaster. It leads to longer days on market. When people see the house has been on the market for 120 days, they wonder what's wrong with it. And then maybe deeper price cuts are going to be required down the road. So be realistic about the current market value of your home. And I always say, why in the world would you want to put your house on the market and not price it at the market? If you've ever had your house on the market, it's not a pleasant thing. It's not a pleasant thing to do. It's a very disruptive process.
Right.
Showings, anytime, you have to keep it clean and picked up. So price it at market. What would be some other recommendations, Reena?
So besides pricing, I think that is one of the key strategies. I think the other strategies would be to be proactive before you sell your home. I think a good idea is to consider a pre-inspection and then make necessary repairs. And why that is useful is that when a buyer comes in and they see that the house is in a move-in ready condition, so they don't have any concerns about any potential expenses that they would have to make. So that, I think, is a great strategy. Another thing is when you're putting up your home for sale, it's a good idea to declutter and kind of depersonalize your home. So if you aim for that clean look, a potential buyer can envision themselves, occupying that house. And also, I think other strategies would be to maximize the curb appeal. The exterior of your home matters because when the buyer comes in, the first thing they see is the exterior of your home. So if you have clean landscaping, perhaps a fresh coat of paint on your front door, a well-maintained walkway, these can make a huge difference out there. And also staging. I think potential sellers, home sellers should consider professional staging. And this really helps your home sell faster. And also think about some strategic updates. And these don't have to be very massive renovations. Think about little changes, replacing a worn out carpet or updating outdated appliances, or you may want to just refresh key areas like the kitchen or bathrooms, a fresh coat of paint. So basically, high impact renovations, which don't cost too much, would go a long way in making your home sell faster. So, do you have any other suggestions, Eric?
Well, to that, I've seen a lot of sellers that put in very taste-specific items.
Mm-hmm.
So don't worry about taste-specific items. The buyers are going to do what they want anyway.
Right.
So spending a lot of money on epoxy on the garage floor, or a new chandelier in the entryway, or a new mantle on the fireplace, those are very taste-specific. So those kind of things you should refrain from doing, even though they might, in your mind, be good things to do. I think the third strategy is to leverage high impact marketing, professional photos that showcase your home's best features, virtual tours now that everybody is on their phones all day long and online, professional staging, as you mentioned earlier, Rena. And I think now a lot of the professional staging uses targeted social media, and shows up on people's feeds when you're listing your home. Likewise, you want to make sure your listings are optimized with detailed descriptions, relevant keywords, since a lot of times feeds are optimized based on those words. Instagram Reels, Facebook Marketplace, even YouTube walkthroughs really bring your property to life.
And I think bringing this all together is work with a proactive agent. And we've talked about this before. All agents are not equal, especially in a challenging market. Find someone who knows your neighborhood, your area best. They are aggressive in marketing and they are highly communicative with you. And they are experienced in navigating these kind of slower markets. And ask them, how long have they taken, what is the average number of days their listings stay on the market? What is their marketing strategy? How frequently they update you on the activity and feedback? So those are important considerations when you go finding yourself a real estate agent to represent you.
And I think a final strategy is to be flexible with your showings.
Right.
Buyers in a slower market have the upper hand, so they have more options. So you don't want to be an impediment for them to see your home. You want to make it easy for them to see your home. I know the very first house I sold many, many years ago, the buyer was sitting in my driveway with their real estate agent in the car, and I got a phone call 30 seconds before they wanted to see the house. So I slipped out the side door, they saw the house, and they made me an offer. So you have to be flexible.
Right. And I think in this current market, when we are hearing about a lot of seller concessions, I think sellers should anticipate buyer negotiation requests. Sometimes the offer may come in a little lower than the asking price. Buyers might have more conditions, they might ask you to repair something. So work with your agent and with the buyers to see if you can reach a mutually agreeable solution. And don't forget, the first offer many times is the best offer. So to sum up, pricing is the top thing, and update your home, work with a good agent, and be flexible with the buyer. So I think you should be able to sell your home a little faster.
All good tips, Rena.
Well, thank you. See you next time.